What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 37 of The Safe State. My name's Bo, and I have with me these excellent and wonderful gentlemen tonight to talk about some gaming news and various things. And you know what, Yako? It's been a long time since I've seen you, brother. How are things going?
We're doing
over
well,
there?
thanks, Bo. Doing well. It's cold in South Africa. We got a new little girl who's starting to smile and notice the world around her.
I love that. That's
Nice.
such a precious time. Such a
Yeah.
precious time.
Beautiful.
Yeah, really enjoying her. Really enjoying her. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, we're doing well. Thank you.
Well, glad to have you here tonight. And Jason, how is it going, buddy?
Pretty
You just
good.
got back from a trip, right?
Yeah. I went over to the West Coast for AWE. I'm recovering. I know 3 hours difference is a minor jet lag for most people, but it was pretty brutal for me.
Yeah. Well, no, 3 hours is no joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It does mess with you, especially the older you get, the more it messes with you too, I think.
Exactly. So I made a fatal mistake. So the thing about jet lag is the first day it's like you have superpowers because you wake up at like 3 a.m. and no one
Yeah.
else is awake. And like you're just ready to go
Right.
and you're ahead of the game.
The adrenaline's going.
Yeah. And then the second day you realize the mistake you made.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I sometimes, like, in those situations, I'll be like, you know what, I'm gonna take Tylenol PM or something like that. The first night, just get me through the first night and like
Right.
try to adjust on that
Go
first
to
night.
sleep.
But, yeah, that's cool. Well, I'm glad you maybe you can tell us a little bit about it later, but I'm glad you got to go and that you got back safely to your family.
Thanks to God.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a couple of topics we're going to cover tonight. But first, I want to just see what you guys have been playing, if anything, and I'll try to ramble through some of my laundry list of games. But Yako, you've been playing anything? You just been busy.
It's been struggling to get time, but mostly strategy. So
Yeah.
some Lord of the Rings last night. Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle Earth and League of Legends. Always a little bit of Fortnite a week or two ago. That's about it.
Gotcha. Very nice. What about you, Jason?
I think I might have mentioned this last time, but I'm playing this kind of, well, I've finished playing it. I've reviewed it. It's a game called Tunnels on Quest. It's like a horror kind of cave diving thing. It's terrifying. Don't play it, Bo. Don't play it. And then
Diving. Okay.
yeah, you're like stuck in caves. You can't move with the thumbstick. You have to crawl, and you have a flashlight with batteries that always run out. It's intense. But I got in contact with that developer, so he wanted me to try it, and I had fun with it. It was really cool. Other than that, Clair Obscur, I try to play that when I can. I'm playing that handheld, with Xbox Game Pass, just in between things, when I can. And then Zombie Army VR just came out, and just kind of been messing around with it.
Oh, yeah.
It's a game that just doesn't take itself very seriously at all. So, just shoot zombies, and yeah, it's silly, but it's fun.
Yeah, I looked at that game, but I thought, and I think I had like a chance to get a key for it, and I don't think I'm gonna accept it because I don't really feel like reviewing it right now.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Like sometimes you
Makes
just
sense.
don't. So I got like too many other things I got to get done, so I just don't know if I have time to review that specific one. Anyway.
It definitely makes sense.
Is it anything? Is it very cartoony? Anything like Plants vs Zombies?
No, it's not. It's not like Plants vs Zombies. It's just I think it's arcade. Like it's just really they leaned into it being extremely like arcade format where everything's kind of fun. You don't really feel like you're in danger. Like so, for example, small examples. Like if you drop a magazine, it automatically just levitates and goes back into your pocket. So like there's no like You can't make a mistake in that way. I mean, it's hard enough, but it's definitely trying to make it seem, not as spooky, which is okay.
Yeah. Are you playing it on
stuff.
PC or Quest?
I just installed the PC version today. When I realized it was cross-buy, I was playing it on Quest, and it looks okay on Quest. But if you ever have the choice, you should play on PC.
Right. Yeah. Hey, I'll ask you guys, and if you're listening, looks like we have a few people watching. Let me know in the comments if my mic sounds okay, because last podcast it sounded fine to me, but it was like my voice was like almost like an octave lower, and there was this like this click going on the whole time, and I don't know why it was doing that on the stream but not in my headphones. So let me know if my mic's okay, because I don't know, I guess I'll disconnect it or something if it's not and see if that fixes it. But it was really annoying afterwards to find that out. So does it sound okay to everybody?
It sounds okay to me. So
Okay.
Yeah,
it's all good.
it's okay on this side. Yeah.
All right. Well, I've been playing Switch 2. All right, I've got it sitting right here. Okay. I been playing. I've just a couple of nights or yesterday, I got Street Fighter 6.
Street Fighter, nice.
Because I wanted to get
Nice.
something else other than just Mario Kart, and this is the only Switch 2 game that had a demo, weirdly, here at launch. And so I picked it up because it had a demo, and I was like really enjoying the demo. I'm terrible at fighting games. Like, I do not get the button combos. They just, I don't understand them. Even when they're
Yeah.
right there on the screen, I just can't pull them off for some reason. And then I will get it finally, eventually once, and then I won't be able to repeat it. And I'm like, what did I do? How did I do it one time?
Right.
Anyway.
God, you just macro. It's probably not on PC only. You just macro it. You press one button and it executes the combo.
Well,
Yeah.
they have in this, they have
PC
different
thing, yeah.
control modes where you can do it the classic traditional way, or there's
Yeah.
one where you can hold down the trigger and push the face buttons to do certain things, and it's easier. And then there's one that I think AI is supposed to help you. You just push 3 of the 4 face buttons to do all of your combos. Like, you just hit whichever one and it will just start doing stuff. So I can do them if I just have to push one button, but
That's
but
funny.
I'm trying to do it the
It kind
traditional
of
way.
takes the fun out of it.
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
the fun in that?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I were to like play against my son or something, I'd set his up that way so he could
Right.
do
Right.
it. But then he'd probably win, and that would tick me off. So then I'd be like, nah, you can't play like that anymore. Anyway, so I've been playing that and Mario Kart with my wife, and my wife has actually been beating me some at Mario Kart World, which is awesome.
Who's her character?
Oh, she switches it around. She's been
Okay.
playing as all the different princesses though, Daisy and Rosalina and
Yeah.
Peach, and yeah, she's been playing as all those. I mostly play as Mario. I played as Yoshi, and you can play as the snowman from Super Mario 64. So I play
Really?
as the snowman sometimes.
That's
So
fantastic.
yeah. And then just some retro games. I've been playing some retro games, and then also I texted you, Jason, about it because of the lightning dog, but I went back and played some more of Half-Life Alyx the other night.
Just kind of struggling through that, I'm sure.
Man, one of these days I'll finish it, but I did finally get to chapter 5, the Northern Star, and
Northern Star.
I got past the laundromat level or section, and I had to stop after that because I had to go do something. I don't remember what it was now, but that game's it's really good. Like,
Yeah, it's a good game.
it's a good game.
Yeah.
And it didn't scare me as much this time because most of what I was doing was in the light. Like, it was some of it was on the surface, and there was like sunlight patches and stuff. So
Right.
it wasn't as scary as the dark tunnels where you get the flashlight. That part was terrible.
Yeah. In the VR community, it's hailed as the game that has ruined and saved and also ruined VR because it's so
Right.
good that nothing can be like it since, and it's been like 5 years. So.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, it is really sad. Started a bunch of other VR games on the Quest as well, but I can't remember all their titles, so I won't go into all that. But I'm slowly working on a compilation video of some like hidden gem type games.
Awesome.
So I've been working through some of those too. But anyway, that's about it. Let's get into our first topic. First topic is, I'm gonna try to share my screen here. Actually, I'm gonna have to unshare the Switch because I can only have two things going at once. Hang on a second, gotta remove that. But there has been, as you know, or if you don't know, let me tell you, the Xbox prices have gone up. All right, so Switch came out literally on the heels of the Switch 2 releasing. We had an Xbox showcase. This was last weekend. So a little over a week ago, and they, Nintendo games some of them are going to be $80 now. So Xbox has said, you know what, we're going to raise our games to $80 as well. But also before that happened, they raised their console prices quite significantly, actually. I can't remember what they are now, but it's like, I think the Series X is like, instead of $500, I think it's $620 now or something like that.
Yeah, it was about $100. Yeah,
it was a lot more. So all that's kind of shocking. And when all that happened, I thought to myself, and should have probably posted it so there was a record of it, that, hey, Game Pass prices are next. Those things are going up for sure. And there's no way that they're going to raise all these other prices and keep Game Pass the same. Because now you have the Outer Worlds 2, games like that coming out, and it's going to be $80. And they announced that last weekend. So today I came across this, which is, I guess this was on Friday. I think this was on Friday, but I didn't see it till today. How do I share this? Why can't I find this? I need to share screen. Here we go. There it is. All right. This right here. That Xbox Game Pass, this new code string suggests that price increase may be imminent. And I think that is absolutely going to happen. That, I mean, there's no way that it doesn't. Because, if you both worked in the business world. If you have games, if you value your games at $80 each, and they were $60 at the beginning of the generation, and then you slowly rose them to $70, but now they're $80. There's no way you keep your subscription model at the same place. Right. So my thinking is that they're probably thinking, okay, if we raise Game Pass, if our games are $80 and you buy 4 games a year, which is about how many they're coming out with a year, for their first party studios, that's what, $320? Right? So
I know where you're going.
You raised, what do you think you raised the price to?
Price of a console.
Well, I think per year, if you want to think about it in terms of a year, so they got 4 games a year, you buy 4 games a year, that's $320, but you want Game Pass to still seem like a deal. I think you push $300 a year subscriptions, which would be $25 a month. So right now, Game Pass Ultimate is $20 a month already. It started at $15. It's crept up to $20. I think it goes up to $25 a month, and I think that probably happens as soon as July.
Yeah, I would agree. I think also the reason I joke about like console, like the price of a console, because if you think about it, they've been slowly killing their console, right?
Yeah.
To the point where it's like, we're going to raise the price of it to even make you hate it a little bit more. And then we'll just get our console revenue out of Game Pass. Like we'll just get it that way, because you have to play Xbox games, you'll have to be on some device. Probably not our console, because it costs too much now, and we even seem like we're not supporting it. So we'll just get our money from you in your subscription. So when you play these games wherever they may be, we can level it out that way. It's interesting.
Yeah, sure. I'm just looking at the price in rand here.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's not pretty.
Yeah.
No.
So I think that you're right. And with the announcement of this ROG Xbox Ally X, which is a terrible name. Okay, I just want to throw that out there. I think we're seeing the beginning of some of their strategy here, because for the last year and a half at least, I've been saying, what are they doing? It feels like they're torpedoing everything. It's like they're trying to destroy themselves, and I do not understand. But maybe this is the beginning of their long-term strategy, or maybe they're just now figuring it out. I'm not sure which it is.
So, and let's talk about long-term though. Like, so if you look at it sunny side up, if you look at it, if it goes the way they want it to go, and 4 years from now, you either have an option of buying a PS8 or, whatever, 10 years from now, whatever. Long term, you have
if there's a PS8 4 years from now, I think Sony fans are going to revolt.
Right. But yeah, so whatever you're buying, Switch 3, and then Microsoft's, or Xbox's, I should say, their position is just play our stuff, whatever you got. Whatever you're on, you can play it. You can play our stuff. You don't have to buy, a PS6 or a Switch 3. Just play it with whatever you got. That's their long game. I don't know if it can survive. I don't know if it'll stay favorable in everyone's eyes for long enough. I mean, they bought up all of the studios.
I know.
So it's like they own a lot of IPs. So they're betting big on that like, we're gonna have games that you want to play. So you're gonna have to come with your subscription money and play them on whatever you have. They'll sell that as the positive thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting play. It's gutsy.
It is gutsy.
But I mean, it seems to have worked sort of for Windows. That's what they did with Windows. They stopped sort of selling Microsoft Windows, and you could get it for free almost as long as you have an existing license. You can upgrade to the next version sort of for free. But they introduced the whole subscription model with Microsoft Office, which was one of their big sellers. So seems to sort of have worked on the corporate side at least.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Yako, and I hadn't really thought about Office 365 or whatever they call it. But it doesn't really feel like they update that. It's not like Photoshop or Premiere Pro where you get new features every other month or whatever.
Right.
It just kind of has. I mean, Microsoft Word. I mean, how much has that changed in the last 30 years?
Right.
Not that much.
No.
But you still pay a subscription for it. In a lot of cases now. So all of this is interesting, and the thing so they also announced this handheld, right? And they also, alongside that nobody seems to be talking about. Now, this was already a thing, but they have I've never heard them talk about it before. And it's Xbox Play Anywhere. And it's where if you buy certain games from the Xbox storefront, you can play it on both PC and on an Xbox console. And sync your save files across both, and you can jump back and forth. When they announced this at their showcase, all of a sudden they began talking about Xbox Play Anywhere, and suddenly there are a lot more games that are Xbox Play Anywhere games than there were before. And I think that this might be part of that strategy, that they want Xbox to become less of a moving forward. Here's what I sort of see that they might do that should maybe possibly work. is like what they're doing with this handheld, where they have a modified version of Windows that is
Mhm.
an Xbox version of Windows that runs on the handheld, but that's also on the console side and also on PC. So like Steam has big picture mode or whatever that
Yeah,
takes
yeah,
over your
big picture.
screen.
Yeah,
I think that's what they want to do with Xbox on
Yeah.
your PC, but then also, on your mobile device and on their console. And I really think that the next gen console, because they've already said we're working on it, and what did Phil Spencer say a few months ago? He was talking about it, and he said this really stupid thing that I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he said, we don't want people buying our console because we have the best games." That
Right.
sounds
That
so stupid. We
yeah.
want them buying our console because it has the best features. And I'm like, what are you going to do to a console to make it have better features than everything else? Like, it
Right.
just didn't make sense to me. But if one of those features is that you can buy it on Xbox and still play it on your PC, that suddenly becomes a lot more intriguing. And your handheld, that's a lot more intriguing to me than, oh, well, PlayStation has Spider-Man 3 coming out, and I'm going to buy it on PS6, and then I'm going to have to turn around 2 years later and buy it on my PC because I want to see how it looks on there too. And then
Right.
I've spent, $160 on Spider-Man 3 plus whatever the DLC costs, Instead, I could buy it once and have it both places. That
on
might
top-
be where they're going. Plus,
on
you have
top
the
of
cloud
that-
stuff on top of that.
Yeah, on top of that, it's like, so also like I think, what is it, the Gears of War remaster, I think is coming to PlayStation, right? So like we have to,
Did they announce that for sure? That's
I'm not
definitely
sure. I mean, it was like in the air or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, and a couple games did come to PlayStation. I can't remember which ones. But that, like, they're not doing that by mistake, right? That's like, we shouldn't take that lightly. They're really looking at or considering the device being pretty much agnostic. And if I could play devil's advocate for a second,
Sure.
when I was testing the handheld, the Backbone handheld that we talked about last time, when I was testing it, I could kind of see a future where this would make sense, right? Because I was playing Steam games, I was playing Xbox games, I was playing mobile games, and I was switching between all of them on this, phone connected to a handheld, right?
Yeah.
So it makes you wonder if, we're just kind of stuck in a little bit of nostalgia, right? So like when you're arguing about like which console you should have, it's almost like arguing about the DVD player instead of the DVDs, right? Instead of the movies, you're arguing about the box that it plays on. I'm just wondering if they're envisioning a future where that shouldn't matter, right? It's kind of what happened to other media, right?
It's just about what I was about to say is look at what happened to DVDs.
Yeah,
and in the music industry, I mean, streaming is the main thing now. Nobody listens to CDs anymore.
Sure.
Yeah.
Very few people actually buy the media.
Yeah, no one's wondering whether or not you have a Sony stereo or a Pioneer stereo anymore. Like, you just play music on whatever you might have at the moment. Right?
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. I have a Sony stereo personally.
Yeah.
Actually, and my dad had a Pioneer, so we had both in the house. Actually,
There you go. Yep. These kids have no idea.
Yeah, they have no idea. Yeah.
So I, looking at it that way, I see where they're going. It's just so brave to just step out there and do it first. I think Microsoft has the backing. They have the money to try something like this.
The infrastructure for sure. Yeah.
They have the money to try it. So,
Yeah. I agree. And it's Junie Jam. I don't know how to say that, but he says it's a great idea. He's right. I'm hooked on all these different features. It's just a better deal through buying once and play everywhere. And I think that's their ace in the hole is they want you to either say, hey, I'm not going to subscribe, but I'm going to pay once and play it wherever I want. or I'm going to subscribe and play it wherever I want. And that
Yeah.
is what they're going for. If they can pull that off, Nintendo's not going to do that. Nintendo can't do that.
No, they don't want to do that.
They don't want to, and even if they did, they can't do it. They don't have the reach for that, like Microsoft does. And Sony doesn't seem to want to do that either, which kind of takes us into the second topic. But this is where Xbox is, and I had pulled up here just in that same article. It says talking about Game Pass, that it has improved a lot, or cloud gaming over Game Pass has improved a lot over the years. And if you've played that for a while, you know that that's true. There is less lag now. Load times are generally faster than they used to be, and yet they still haven't removed the beta tag. And so some of this person's sources have indicated that Microsoft is right now working on its next generation of Xbox cloud servers, and that those are being tested even as we speak. So the next generation of Xbox could not just be a box, but it could be a next gen cloud service as well. And all of that kind of comes to a nexus point, I think, here in the next couple of years with the handheld, the console, and the handheld already is going to have a modified version of Windows on it. I don't know if you guys saw that, but you'll be able to run full Windows 11 or a scaled back version of Windows 11 that has your Steam library, your Xbox library, your GOG library, your Epic Games library. You can run any of them on that Xbox ROG Ally X. And I think that's what they're going to do with their Xbox console this next generation as well. Is run that same version of Windows to do that.
Well, I mean, the whole thing with streaming has been quite intriguing to me, because it's very expensive to buy new hardware on PC. I mean, a graphics card cost what it used to cost to buy a PC.
Right.
At this stage, almost. So the whole idea of streaming was quite intriguing to me, but it just isn't quite there yet. We can get, in South Africa, Nvidia's version of it, and 3 hours, you get 3 hours for it's quite a bit of a price. So it was kind of at the point where you kind of want to do it, but you also don't want to do it.
That's a good point.
Just on a side note, I see in South Africa the Game Pass Ultimate is 200 Rand, which is half of what you guys pay, it seems.
Interesting.
That's $10 around the year, or roughly $12.
But you raise a good point, Jaco, because it's also kind of crazy for them to assume that everyone's going to have access to the internet, right? Like,
sure,
and a fast enough access to the internet. So, so that's why some people like to have a box that they can play disconnected with physical media if they want,
Yeah.
So.
Or at least a downloaded copy of the game.
Right.
Maybe that's what they'll do. I mean, that's what I loved about some of the music streaming services. So you could actually download the music and still listen to it, as long as you connect every now and then to sort of verify your games or your subscription.
Right.
Yeah, I want to come back to what you're saying about not everybody's internet connection is the same, and so it works some places where it might not work in other places. But I want to read this comment from Junie Jam first real quick. It says, in a nutshell, what Microsoft is doing is what put them where they're at right now. Windows is an ecosystem that they have put on all different hardware, and their own hardware, a la Surface, made billions. Yep. That's absolutely true. Xbox ecosystem is like Windows ecosystem. They will put it on as many hardware devices and make billions like their Windows ecosystem, and that is, I think, the goal here. And while I've been complaining about their decisions for the last year and a half because they didn't make sense to me, if that's where they're going with it, and they haven't come out explicitly and said that really, but I think reading between the lines, that's the conclusion that we're drawing from what the evidence suggests so far. It's starting to make a little more sense to me, and I don't necessarily, prefer it, like it for myself, but I do understand it, and if they're going in this direction, then it probably is the best thing for them as a business. So yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
internet
Sorry.
wise,
Right
that's
now,
fine.
the top 8 games selling on PlayStation are all Xbox games. Yeah, it's been pretty hilarious to watch.
Interesting.
They've been raking it in over there on PlayStation, and you know that it's some of that's going to be coming to Switch too.
Yep.
If Cyberpunk 2077 can run as well as it does on a Switch 2, then you know Master Chief Collection is coming to Switch 2 at some point.
Mhm.
Gears of War is coming to Switch. Like it's coming. Forza Horizon is coming to Switch 2, and it's going to sell really well on there too.
Right.
I mean, that's been an exciting development for me, is the development of on-chip graphics. So you don't necessarily need to buy a dedicated GPU on the PC
Mhm.
side. You can just buy the CPU with included graphics, and it's actually good enough to run some of the AAA titles. So
Yeah.
it's been an exciting development. And internet around here is getting better. I mean, in South Africa, at least, we've got fiber now on most people,
Nice.
even in some of the lower income areas. So they've introducing fiber it's like telephone lines across poles instead of entrenched fiber lines, and it's cheaper.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
It's actually getting to quite an affordable point.
Nice.
I'm still hoping, waiting for fiber here where I live. I'm still on
Really?
cable
Same.
internet,
Really?
and
It's not everywhere in the US. Not
Yeah.
at all.
my
Yeah.
upload speeds are pretty bad. That's really one of the reasons that I use StreamYard now, is because it's easier on my internet, because I don't have to upload everybody's video feed from my house.
Well,
I used to. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm sure in the rural areas in South Africa, you got the same thing. There's not fiber isn't everywhere yet. I mean, I'm in one of the major cities, so that's probably why. But and what about satellite? But I don't know. I've heard that the likes of what's Musk's service that he offers,
Starlink.
I've heard that the upload speeds and so isn't too great on that. So and that isn't always.
Well, they're working on that too. I know they talk about it a lot. They keep launching more satellites so the upload speeds can get better. Junie Jam, also don't forget, Microsoft has been running servers since the 90s. They have that market cornered, and that's why their stuff runs the best as far as cloud gaming.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's clear. It's very clear that it can work. They just don't need the gaming community to, come after them with their torches and pitchforks.
Yeah.
Sure.
If they can hold off, then they'll definitely make money doing it this way.
Yeah, I agree. So the cloud stuff. So we know Nintendo, that's not really their thing, at least not yet. All right. They still want you to be on their platform with their IP.
Oh yeah.
That's fine. Whatever. That's their choice, and it's working for them. They sold 150 million Switches this last generation, and the Switch 2, I don't know if y'all saw this, but in the first 4 days, it sold 3.5 million units. Sold, not shipped, sold. To customers, it seems, because the scalper prices, the scalpers are always out there trying to get this new stuff. The scalper prices have plummeted in the last week because they can't sell them, because the stock was enough that people aren't looking for that scalped Switch 2. So so that's good to see. But they have their own strategy. It seems to be working for them for now. And Sony is altogether different from either one of those. And so Sony had a shareholder meeting. Let me show you this. So they had a shareholder meeting this past, I guess, maybe Friday. Yeah, I think that's Friday. And somebody asked them about the Switch 2 and how it's going to impact PlayStation, which I think is super interesting that they had this conversation. So Sony replies, and says this because these people are worried that the Switch 2 is going to take a bunch of market share. He says, "We closely monitor the overall gaming industry, including the action of other market participants." I'm sure that you do. "Additionally, a catalyst in the market is great for the industry as a whole. As they invigorate excitement, they demand more product, so it's great to have people launching new things." So I think that's pretty positive, I think, from them. A positive way to look at that. Like, Nintendo launching a new console actually helps out everybody. That's true. I think that's true. As I mentioned previously, we have a different strategy. PlayStation 5 is designed for immersive gaming experiences. I'm not really sure what, like, that feels like a jab, a little bit of a jab. like Nintendo's not made for immersive gaming
Right.
experiences.
Yeah.
It's only us, y'all. We're designed for it. And this includes the innovative DualSense controller features as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
Nintendo had
what do they
HD
mean?
Rumble. Nintendo had HD Rumble. That was before DualSense, but you know what? It's whatever. Okay. "We believe PS5 level performance is required to achieve a great experience on big screens." And look, I've been playing this on my big screen, and I think it looks pretty good. Now, it doesn't look as sharp. It doesn't look. I played Fortnite, right? That's the only game I have to compare. It looks better on PS5, no doubt. But the Switch 2 version is way better than the Switch 1 version of Fortnite.
Yeah.
In terms of resolution and frame rate. So it really is it's a generational leap.
And we
Switch
talked
1.
about this, Bo. We talked about this here of the show before. Kids these days aren't pixel peepers like we are. Like we came up
such a pixel peeper. But you're right, they're not. No.
But they're not. Like, we came up seeing the technology grow. We went from 8-bit to what we have today, and we watched every pixel along the way. And like kids today, it's like if the game works, they're good. Like if I can see it, it's fine. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So this idea here of, this here, it's required to achieve a great experience on big screens. I'm just not buying that personally.
Yeah.
And in this way, we have provided a unique offering for players and creators in this current console generation. Now they have, they've got some great IP, and I love my PlayStation. I think it's great. Publisher strategies are increasingly shifting toward being multi-platform. This starts to get into the cloud stuff. So more platforms can run the same game, which is great from a creator's perspective. Among those platformers, I don't know if is that a typo? Should it just be platforms? I'm not sure. Our mission is that we will continue to be the best place to play and publish. As such, we have empowered our creators to leverage our offering and the services to create amazing, unique experiences for players with high engagement and great monetization opportunities. We have done this consistently as the industry and competitive dynamics have evolved. PlayStation Studio and our franchises have a special role in showcasing the PlayStation experience and then strengthening the player's relationship with us. And so then they were asked another question about the younger generation not moving on to PlayStation as they age. And this was their response. "The PlayStation brand and offering has resonated with a wide range of players over 3 decades now. The number of users engaged on our platform continues to grow. By supporting such a large number of creators, we are able to provide the largest range of content available, catering to all demographics, geographics, and play styles, etc. We believe that by constantly investing in players' relationship with the brand and our relationship with creators, we will ensure we stay close to all players' hearts through their lifetime." That's a pretty big statement.
It is. It really is. I don't know.
Lifetime's a long time.
Yeah.
Herman Hulst, go ahead. If you have a thought, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just going to say it's interesting because when we see big statements like this, and you have to ask, what demographic are you speaking to? And it's something I struggle with, right? Because I'm looking at this from an older gamer's perspective and what I expect and then like realizing that I'm quickly becoming part of the minority as far as the gamer base across all gamers, right? So there's a like was it Gen Alpha now? Gen Z
Yeah.
and Gen Alpha are becoming the larger, gamer
Sure.
base. So it's like,
So it's
are you?
like 7th or 8th grade and down.
Yeah,
Is that where they are
yeah,
now, or
I think so, like 8th grade or so. So it's
something like
like,
that?
well, like, do they buy that, right? Like, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't. I'm not
It's
sure
hard.
that they care as much, right?
It's hard. Like most of them, their gaming is largely done on touch screens.
Yeah, yeah.
That's so weird to me. I
It
hate
is.
playing
It's
with
super
touchscreen.
weird. Yeah,
But even Game Pass has a whole section on your
Mhm.
phone. It says play with touch, and it has
Yeah.
all the games like in a line where that you can play with touch. And some of them
Right.
are like big
Mhm.
AAA games.
Yeah,
But so that's odd. But if they grow up that way and don't learn how to use a controller, like what happens?
right.
What does it look like 20 years from now? I don't know.
Well,
That's kind of another
yeah,
you
and
know,
then and then
rabbit hole to go down.
And then, I mean, this kind of goes into like what we were talking about with Xbox. It's like if you got to speak to the gamers who are actually playing. So it's like if I'm a kid, if I'm an 8th grader, and I can pull out my phone and play the game right now, or if you happen to have Amazon Fire Stick or something that I can play the game on right now, that's what I'll prefer versus a 7-pound box that I have to hook up to a television at grandma's.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I have to agree. I mean, I moved to a laptop about 2 years ago. So I never thought that I would really like laptops over a dedicated PC hardware setup. I'm a
Mhm.
PC fanboy. I love building the hardware. It's like building a car engine
Yeah.
for other guys to me. So I love putting all the wires perfectly in place. But I've got to say that the portability of the laptop is really starting to win me over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thinking if I had to upgrade, I'd prefer to sell the laptop and get a better gaming laptop,
Right.
just because I can take it with me wherever I go, and that's
Sure.
super convenient to me.
Right.
Well, even
Trust me, carrying
even-
PCs to a LAN,
yeah, even
especially with a
non-gaming.
big LAN.
Yeah,
Mhm.
even non-gaming
Yeah.
laptops you can do stuff on now.
Right.
I got a MacBook Air a couple of months ago, one of the new M4 ones, and for traveling with, and it's just a MacBook Air. It has no fans or anything, and you can play I
Yeah.
can play a lot of things on there, including
Yeah.
Game Pass streaming.
Right. Exactly.
um,
I played
so,
Resident Evil on an iPad.
Yeah.
Resident Evil
I
5.
played
on
Resident
an
Evil
iPad.
on my
Yeah.
phone natively.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You can play I tried it, the demo on my MacBook Air too, but
Yeah.
I ran that. You can play Borderlands 3. You can play I can't remember what all I tried, but there were several things, and I was like, man, it's just
So-
crazy what you can do now in the portable
Yeah.
space.
Yeah, man. And so like in light of that, you read what PlayStation is saying here, and they're talking about keeping the nostalgia connected to this experience with a big screen and all these, and it's like, I don't know if that's going to resonate.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know if
So-
it's gonna stick.
So let me read the rest of this response here. It says, on the first party content side, we're also reaching to a greater range of audiences more directly, including younger players, with our first party lineup, in addition to our franchises with more multi-generational fan bases, such as Marvel Spider-Man. We also have franchises that appeal to a range of different player segments. Horizons is a good example. It's very popular with female players. I seriously feel like I almost never hear anyone talk about Horizon.
Horizon, yeah, same. I was
Yeah.
going to say that. I mean, yeah, it's good. Like when it came out,
brilliant game,
everybody
yeah.
liked how it looked, but I don't hear people aren't really talking about Horizon like that.
I don't know, but they keep investing in it. So maybe somebody's buying it. I don't know, but Spider-Man has done well, but Spider-Man is not really their IP.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to me that that's what they're using as their first example here. But anyway, Astrobot has been a hit with, oh, come on. Why the ads? Get out of the way. I'm reading this. Go away. It's been a hit with children and adults alike. That's true. Astrobot was an incredible game. Everybody loved that one. So
Yeah.
we continue to drive engagement to PlayStation's ecosystem and brand by bringing franchises to new formats. Film, television, and anime. Anime in particular is appealing to key younger audiences, so that's going to be very helpful for us. I don't even know what they're referring to there exactly. I didn't know they had an IP that was based in anime. So if anybody knows
Me
what that
neither.
is, let me know in the comments because I'm not sure what they're referring to there exactly. Yeah, they sold 3.5 million units in the first 4 days, and I believe in the first week, in less than a week, they sold 1 million units in Japan alone. So Switch 2 is doing very well. It's well on its way to they think they're going to sell 15 million by the end of this year. And they're well on their way to doing that because we obviously haven't hit any of the holiday season, not even close to that yet. So I thought this said something about cloud stuff in here, how they couldn't control. I know I read that somewhere, how they couldn't. It must, maybe it was in a different article, how they couldn't control the internet stuff. It wasn't it wasn't within their control end to end. They could do what they could with their servers, but they can't control it getting all the way to you. So they want you to download their game, and they're not going to be pushing cloud like Xbox is.
Well, yeah. I mean, they wouldn't dare. I mean, Microsoft has so much infrastructure to lean on to say, yeah, we can probably do it. Sony doesn't have that. Yeah, they can't risk trying something like that at all. I just worry, not to sound like a broken record, but I worry about the companies leaning into wanting to hold on to nostalgia for a shrinking group of gamers. And we're still strong, but some of us are in our 60s, at this point. And,
Wow, you're 60? I had no idea, man. You look
I look
fantastic.
good for 60. Yes. No grays at all for 60. but there are gamers, from like the 70s, that are up there, and they're talking about those people who understand like how cool it is to have a jewel case and have a box sitting in their room, a game jacket in the jewel case and reading about the game. Like they're talking to those people, and it's like, I don't know. I don't even think half of older gamers are still there,
Downloads are definitely convenient.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, we've got an interesting case in South Africa at this point. Our public broadcaster here, called the SABC, is completely irrelevant. Nobody watches them anymore. So to the point where they really in financial problems. They constantly have financial problems with the government having to bail them out because they never evolved. They never moved on. They never started. They've recently started streaming on YouTube and that type of thing.
Right.
And now they sort of want to impose a tax on everybody, say, to keep it going, which is completely absurd. So you're completely irrelevant. Now you want to force people to keep you alive.
Right.
It's sort of the same idea. I agree with you. I don't know if that strategy is going to win at the end of the day.
It's going to, they're going to be forced into it, or they'll become a small niche. It'll be like tabletop gaming. No disrespect to tabletop gaming, but if you want to do it, you have to seek it and and find that community and and play that way, right? It's interesting.
I think. Go ahead.
Sorry, or it will take some other form or shape, like the whole retro gaming community that's just moved to small, very affordable handouts, basically. So let's take some other form of it. So I must say I've been surprised how big the retro gaming community is, but nowhere close to.
It is big.
Yeah.
It's a lot bigger than I realized. I just got this in the mail today, Yako. This is the 35XX Pro, and it's $50. It's $50, and it plays PSP and everything down from there. And
So imagine this. Imagine
And-
Xbox down the road. You know, as
Sure.
Wi-Fi speeds keep getting faster.
Yeah.
Yako just got fiber, right?
Yeah.
And all I need is a small device that can connect to the internet, and you can
Yeah.
play
Yeah.
a million games.
Yeah.
That's hard to compete with. It really is.
It's very hard.
That was the whole idea behind the iPod. I mean, when Steve
Yep.
Jobs came out
Right,
with
right, yeah.
3,500 songs in your pocket.
In your pocket, right? Yeah, it's hard to compete with. You can't say, "Oh, but I can play games better on."
You mean
your
this?
65." There you go. Old school. There it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're not going to convince people saying I can play games on your 65-inch Ultra HD TV better than the other guys. That's not going to be
That's
a
not
playbook.
enough.
Yeah.
It's not enough. That's a problem. Yeah. So the whole idea of a quantity, quality over quantity sort of idea. You know, we're the best, but I don't know how long that argument is going to stand.
Yeah, man, it'll be interesting. I'm here for it.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward
I
to.
agree.
I'm looking forward to cloud gaming on VR for that same purpose.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
And I was about to say we haven't even thrown VR into all this mix yet, but my
Yeah.
one thing is that I really still feel like we need competition to spur growth, and they kind of mentioned that in that Sony did at their shareholders meeting
Right.
with Nintendo. But so again, I keep going back to if I can play my Xbox games on any platform, why would I ever buy an Xbox, and why would they continue to make games? But I guess if people are buying the games, then they'll keep making games. I just don't want the competition to go away, because I feel like that's going to end up being hurtful in the end.
And I totally agree. And I don't want PlayStation to fail. I like for them to compete.
Yes,
You know?
I want all three of them to compete, and VR to compete as well.
Mm-hmm. It would be
I
great.
agree.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
the where the VR stuff is going, I mean, I just don't even
it's-
know.
It's wild, man.
What
Wild.
what did you try? Did you try that new headset, the 8K with the 8K?
Yeah. The Play
get to
for
try that?
Dream. Yeah, the Play
Yeah.
for Dream. So the one thing that stands out about that headset is that so it's like 8K per eye or something crazy high like that. So high, in fact, that they had to increase the settings on virtual desktop where you can play PC games.
Uh-huh.
They put a whole entire tier of graphics
Just for it.
that headset.
Wow.
So it went up to like God mode, but then like they had to add Monster to it just for that headset. But yeah, I mean it's super sharp, super clear. Devices like that, the Play for Dream, it's interesting because it's not $3,500, or it's not going to be anywhere near that like the Apple Vision Pro, but you have really crispy visuals. You're going to be able to.
Does it require a PC, or is it?
No. There's some standalone application to it as well.
Okay.
So it has a version of Android on it that you can do multitasking and work stuff and all that stuff too.
Okay.
I didn't get to play any standalone. I did play Half-Life Alyx on virtual desktop on it, and it looked amazing. I didn't like the comfort was a little smaller than the Quest, like in here, so it's kind of cramped. But seeing high-end VR headsets like that just kind of pop up, it's exciting. It's exciting because we don't necessarily need Apple or Meta to make one. Like, people can kind of go out and make great headsets that work really well and keep them at a reasonable price point. It's exciting. It goes back to that competition thing. We'll start to see better stuff. Like you guys review handhelds, and like they keep getting better. Some are worse that you guys have shared, and you've told us that they're worse, right?
Yeah.
But you keep getting improvements, and then they sometimes there's like a sweet spot where it's just like, yes, this is the one, right? So I'm excited to see that in the VR space where we have lots of options for hardware.
Yeah.
Well, you don't
Sorry,
want this many options.
There's way too many handhelds.
The retro, the hand. Oh,
Yeah.
man, it's crazy.
They changed one little thing
And put out a new
On the-
handheld. Yeah.
Yeah, on the Pro they added the sticks. The one.
And yet, you know what?
showed.
Somehow it runs smoother than my 35XX Plus, and I don't understand why, because the specs are exactly the same. Somehow they are getting more out of the same thing every time they come out with one of these.
Some
It's
kind
like
of firmware
overclock the
update.
chips.
through some kind of firmware,
Yeah.
you know, OS patching, they're getting more performance, and I don't understand how they keep doing that. Anyway, go ahead with your thought. I'm sorry.
No, it's just I wanted to ask about the Pimax's had high resolution headsets like that
Yeah.
for VR for a while now, but that was up to 5K, I think.
Yeah, it was 5K. I've tried Pimax. I tried their headsets at CES, and they're impressive. The headsets are really big. They're not as heavy as they
Bulky.
look. Yeah, they're bulky, but they're not that heavy. So they're more so for, they're so big that they're more so for like sims, like racing sims, flight
Yeah.
sims. You're not gonna move around in one of those like you would like a Quest. Like you're not gonna be playing pickleball in this giant headset. You know, it's just not. It's not for that, in my opinion. I wouldn't use it that way.
It looks specifically. I was surprised to see it. Looks like there's a whole league of racing sims where people compete.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
You know, the whole setup where they sit in a chair and they got the Pimax headset.
Yeah. I've been tempted to get one of those, but my wife would probably say otherwise. Yeah, I want one so bad.
I'd rather have a treadmill with omnidirectional treadmill. I saw you tested out the one that was at like the concave shape, eh?
Yeah, I actually have one of those. Cat VR sent me one of those, and it's still up in the house. I'm sure my wife loves it, but that one it's almost like 6 feet tall, and it's about 4
that's
feet
crazy.
4 feet around. Yeah. It's a lot to have in your house.
I want to ask you about the Accelerate one that you tried out with the ball bearings. But can I show this comment real quick before we move on too far? From Junie Jam again, we got Microsoft is adapting to change. They're thinking future. 10 years from now, with Sony only focusing on first-party games, it's not going to hold up. You see, right now they are laying off and closing studios. AAA games are way too much money to make anymore. And they do need to get that figured out. That is a problem we've talked about many times on this podcast. They've got to get the AAA, the budgets figured out. It's not a sustainable model for a lot of reasons. And I think one of the things that makes Claire Obscure Expedition 33, it blows up the entire narrative, because they put out what I think is a AAA experience on an indie budget, basically,
right?
Or at least a AA budget, and did it in a shorter amount of time with a smaller amount of people, and so we need to get back to more of that kind of a model. Anyway,
I'll just add one short thing to that. AAA is what the gamers define, not what the corporations define. I think that's where it all went wrong. Gamers understand what a AAA game is. Claire Obscure is a AAA game because it's an amazing game, not because we hired, Tom Brady to be in it or whatever. That's not what makes games AAA.
You mean Charlie Cox? Charlie Cox voices the main character in that game.
Yeah. But no, I was joking. But like even like the Call of Duty announcement, right? I can't remember the guy's name, but he played Peter Petrelli in the Heroes. He's like in the game.
Gilmore Girls and This Is Us.
Exactly. It's like how much did you pay to get this actor to do voice and motion cap? Like we didn't have to have that, right? Like no offense to him, great, he got the job, but it's just like what corporations think is AAA doesn't add real value to the game experience. You're just spending money on things,
I'm thinking of that gaming series, Secret Level. They had quite a few famous actors voice some of the characters. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Keanu Reeves, and it's not that well known.
It's like how much was that? Were their checks like that? That had to cost something, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. What were you going to say about something VR? But the Accelerate. Yeah, the Accelerate.
The Accelerate. So it's interesting because the Accelerate treadmill looks a lot like the Cat VR treadmill.
Sure.
The
Yeah.
the main difference is the ball bearings on the surface.
Yep.
And that, in my review of the Cat VR, that was one thing I was saying, is that it's really loud. Your feet are kind of grinding against the bowl at the bottom. So not only do the ball bearings actually move, but they were adding like treadmill lubricant to it. So and then the shoes you wear are completely flat and they're like rubber on the bottom. So it's smooth and quiet. It's interesting. It's interesting.
When I saw it, my first thought was, oh man, I bet that is really loud.
Yeah.
But then I commented on X, and I think they might have I don't know if they commented back or if I saw somebody's video. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But they said that it wasn't. It was actually extremely quiet.
It's extremely
and I was like,
quiet.
Man,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's really good to know, because I think that looks like it would be better than like the Cat VR model that you
I actually need to use my Cat VR a little bit more and kind of get more used to it. But yeah, it's definitely quieter. Now the only drawback is that the Cat VR shoes have trackers, kind of like optical mice on the bottom.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's what's like giving you that input for the headset to know that you're walking. Now the Accelerate is using HTC Vive trackers and lighthouses to track the movement of your feet. So it's a lot more going on. So you have lighthouses sitting up around the treadmill. So there's a lot happening there. I'm not sure.
So it takes up a bigger space.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot bigger space. And I'll be honest, man. The treadmills that I tried at AWE, everything was great, but like we're still in the early phases. Like when you're trying this stuff out, like they're having trouble. They're like resetting things, and like lighthouses and trackers are like dying, and they're having to like redo stuff. Like it's not a really smooth
demo
process.
experience.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
What I was encouraged by seeing it though is that they're not stuck in like one lane. We got to perfect this method.
Yeah.
It seems like there were a lot of different types of locomotion solutions that people were trying to work on and come up with.
Yeah.
And I think that's good. Like, let's try different things. Let's see if we can get this figured out. And maybe there's more than one solution here. I don't know, but
yeah, 100%.
I thought that was cool.
First thing I thought of when I heard of this ball bearing treadmill is the old mice we used to have. With a ball inside.
Yeah, with the ball.
You're gonna have to take it out and clean it.
Man,
each one.
No idea.
Yeah,
for sure.
It looks interesting. Prices are just insane.
You really have to be an enthusiast who's really looking for a locomotion solution. It's a mouthful. But yeah, you have to really care. Don't get me wrong. It's freaking cool. Like when you're in headset, maybe with a haptic gun stock, marching across the ground with your VR treadmill, like there's just nothing like it. Like there's no controller or Ultra HD TV that will give you that experience. Like it's
sounds awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty good stuff. Did they mention by any chance or indicate what the price might be? Because that hasn't launched yet, right?
No.
It's still in.
No, I think it's still they're still in experimental phase. I think they're all trying to stay around $1,000 or so, 1,000 to 1,500, give or take. Now the really big one, the one that you've seen like in Ready Player One, I think they were thinking about their consumer market staying around about $5,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is
the Amster ball one.
Yeah. It's like it's probably got more enterprise use than personal use. I don't see anybody buying that thing unless you just have money to waste. It's huge. It's really big. Like the metal base that's holding the treadmill piece is like 4 feet off the ground almost. So
that's crazy.
It's huge.
That's
nuts.
I don't have space for that or money like that to burn for sure.
That's Hollywood level VR gaming.
Yeah.
But if you want to send one to us to review, we will.
Right.
We're willing to talk about it.
Infinidec, if you're listening, we are open to review units.
Yes.
Yeah.
Clear out the garage,
Seriously, yeah.
Whew. Yeah, I have to clear out a lot.
Same here.
Yeah, AWE
Oh,
was
man.
awesome, man. It's a great time for XR, VR, AR, whatever you want to call it. It's a really great time. It was nice to see that there are so many developers and people building things, and they're really passionate about it. So
Yeah, it looks like a good time. Like I already told you, I wouldn't mind trying to plan to go next year, but that we'll see. I don't know. So that almost wraps it up for tonight. You guys have before I move on to this very last thing, do you have any other thoughts about PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox? Anybody watching? We've got quite a few people watching tonight, which is awesome to see. Appreciate all of you. If you have any thoughts about those things, let us know in the comments. I will share this last little thing with you because I think it's funny, and then I'm going to relate it to something a little more practical. But this came out on X from GameStop today. I don't know if you guys saw. GameStop in New York had stapled receipts to Switch 2 boxes.
that's
And they put this out today about restocks, okay, because they got some more in stock to sell.
funny.
Staples not included. Find a Switch 2 restock at GameStop today. And I thought that was a really funny image, right?
Red stapler from like Office Space at that. So
Yeah, do not use on box. That's really great. That was really funny of them a funny way to address that situation, I thought. And but when that happened, I also here's what I want people to know. That some Switch 2 screens were pierced with some staples. And that really does stink. And I'm sure that GameStop probably replaced those. I hope they did. I hope they made it right and replaced those things.
I hope so.
Because we all make mistakes. And on this podcast, we always try to take some kind of gaming topic and relate it back to the gospel. We're all believers in Christ. And so I just want to say really quickly tonight before we sign off here that Jesus loves you. And that he was pierced because of our mistakes. He bore our sins on the cross, and man, it was a lot more than staples. But the crown of thorns and the nails through his hands and his feet, and the spear through his side, he paid the penalty for all of us because he was perfection and paid the price for our sins, so that we could know him and know God through him, and live eternally with him. And so I just want you to know that tonight, that you don't have to feel the weight and the shame of your mistakes in the past, that God has made it right through his son, Jesus Christ, so that you don't have to bear the weight of any of that sin anymore. And there's a lot of hope in that, and a lot of hope in the future because of that. So, and the world's kind of messed up. There's a lot of bad stuff going on out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we do have hope in Jesus. And so I want you to know that. And if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to me or either of these guys and let us know. Love to talk to you about that further. But that's pretty much all I have for us tonight. Appreciate everybody watching. Jaco, let us know where everybody can find you.
I'm on YouTube mostly. The Tech Update, doing a lot of handheld reviews, overviews rather, and a little bit of a presence on X, a little bit of a presence on TikTok. Not really active on there at the moment. Got too much going with a little baby girl that's here. Yeah. But you can find me on YouTube, definitely. I'm working on a video just talking about whether or not you should put Rocknix on your Retroid Pocket 5. So,
yeah,
is that beneficial or not?
Nice.
Very cool. Rocknix is a very interesting OS.
Operating system, yeah.
Yeah. Jason, where can we find you, man?
The Construct on YouTube. I am on all the other platforms, but YouTube's the best place to check me out there. Everything VR, XR, mixed related. Trying to up my upload frequency, trying to get over that, perfectionism. So
yeah.
just came back from AWE, so I'm going to cover a few more things in detail that I saw there. Have a few talks about that stuff. But yeah, exciting time. If you're into VR, come see me.
And you can find me right here on Bono's Gaming. I'm working on all kinds of stuff. I have a Ambernick RG557 review coming soon. I have more Switch 2 content coming. I'm still working on my Backbone Pro review. I've got a bunch of stuff in all different areas coming from retro gaming to VR. These guys are smarter than me and have really niched down and become pros at what they do. And I'm just kind of all over the place. But the channel is named Bono's Gaming for a reason. I didn't want to niche down. I dug myself this hole. Yeah. Check these guys out. They are amazing, make great content. And thank you all for joining us. I think we had a record number of people watching tonight for this podcast, which is awesome. So I appreciate each of you.
Awesome.
And hope that you're having a wonderful week so far and that you continue to do so. But stay kind and encouraging out there, and we'll catch you on the flippity flip.